Okay, the following is the opening of the book Initiation of the Soul, written by Michael D. Eggleston. Alright. Truth is something that is ridiculed, mocked, and feared in these strange days. We find ourselves in this 21st century digital dream, unaware for the most part of reality, of truth in its highest form. I do not speak of subjective truths, or of true and false mundane trivia, or of what is paraded as truth by the so-called experts in the field of modern academia, the mainstream media, or by those who sit in powerful seats in their ivory towers of governments. Religion, science, and economics. For if the veil is lifted and actual truth about history, spirituality, and humanity is taught, these will all be proven as frauds, as illusions, in place to limit the freedom of the individual. Thus, the illusion perpetuated for so long by those in power is vital to the continuation of a world built on lies, with power and profit being the pillars of empires. The result is constant struggle, problem, reaction, solution, in both the individual and on the world stage. If we are to solve the issues facing humanity at this point in history, this juncture, we must educate and awaken the innermost faculties residing within each human being and awaken the senses to true reality that is locked away deep within. It is the stuff of legends, of the mystics of a time long forgotten. It is the enlightenment of knowledge, of wisdom, that in turn will awaken the divine creative spark to understanding and truth, to illuminate reality as it truly is, and not as we like it to believe, wish, or think it to be, to provide solutions to the struggles of humanity, which in reality are more simple than one can imagine, as most solutions offered by these so-called experts always appear complicated, one-sided, and only benefit a small group in the outcome. We find ourselves as individuals and as a whole facing the most challenging times in modern human history. We must, for the betterment of all nations, for all people, unite as one to solve the problems now facing humanity, to seek solutions that benefit all while maintaining the sovereignty of nations and personal liberty for all people. We must seek to understand the interconnectedness to which all things are a part of, a higher divine consciousness, the natural order of all things. Humanity must learn to respect the beliefs and traditions of others, while finding common ground needed to repair centuries-old wounds, an end to war and disease of body, mind, spirit, and nature. A consciousness of awareness, revealing of truth, of philosophy, and knowledge. However, the distinction must be made clear, without doubt, between those who currently seek control through a malevolent agenda, a new world order built on corruption, deceit, and power. The very forces that have polluted the political, religious, and socio-economic paradigms for centuries must give way to truth, to light, to liberty. There is no place for this type of greed-oriented mindset any longer if we are to restore the balance needed for harmony and equality among all men of earth, the equilibrium needed to maintain life in nature as a whole, the sum of all its parts, of which humanity is a part of. To emerge from the darkness there must be humility and compassion in place of arrogance and indifference. Those who claim to know better, to wield power of control over the souls of men on earth, for personal gain and pleasure, in all governments and institutions, must step down and accept the laws of nature, of the universe, of God, whichever label one wishes to give to the higher force of creation, cannot be broken or manipulated. Cause and effect, as ye sow, as shall ye reap, are one of the laws of nature, and in one way or another balance will be restored. Liberty and freedom to humanity is a right. It is not a privilege to be decided by other men in positions of power. This is against the free will not only of individuals but of nations. To impose control over others as if personally ordained by some insane deity is unacceptable. The laws of nature and of nature's God are one and the same and must be obeyed. The disharmony we see in the world and in personal life today is because these laws have been ignored for so long in search of trivial material pleasures and ignorance to truth. Consciousness is the catalyst of all that is. There is a war on consciousness occurring. A spiritual war is what this is all truly about. But for the new consciousness to emerge, the old paradigms must be questioned, broken down, and built again. We must understand truth. But first, we must understand that what has been accepted in place of truth for so long has for the most part been based on information and manipulation by a small group of people to produce a certain outcome through governments, organized religions, schools of academia, and so-called modern intellectualism. There is no real difference between any of these, as they are all perpetuated by the same progressive movement. The vast majority of humanity has fallen asleep for so long within the illusion that it now accepts the illusion as reality and rejects truth when faced with having to make any real decisions for themselves that might upset or bring change to the comfortably numb world they have come to accept. Personal responsibility must be taken, and a revolution of sorts must emerge from the complacency of inaction. The following may seem to repeat. This is intentional, as to drive the importance of the following statements. It is intended to make clear certain points, and to lay to waste to what has been accepted in place of universal truths. The understanding of oneness that must be realized is that all creation is one, from one, truly spiritual, not dogmatic. The realization that humanity is one creation, one organism, a part of the whole, and that racism and indifference between humans is nothing more than illusion, that all is connected, and that in this connectedness we must understand the larger truth inherent within the very creation itself. We humans have been endowed with reason and logic to use, to grow, to understand, yet most of the time, through arrogance and ignorance, we place ourselves above nature's laws and see ourselves as separate or above such laws because of these attributes that stem from self-awareness. We make the mistake in placing ourselves higher on the ladder than we actually are. We see ourselves separate from the creation, the Creator, as a whole, and attempt to control things that are beyond our control, thus resulting in the imbalances and destruction we see all around us, created by us. We must, as a species and as individuals, recognize that all is in fact connected. Through nature, energy, consciousness, we must understand that the laws of nature, of the universe, are in fact unbreakable by humans and do not discriminate on any level. Nature always balances itself out, fixes what is out of order. Personal responsibility and realization is the key to living a life in harmony with these natural laws. A life of abundance, a life of peace, of truth. When there is disease or sickness in nature, as in humans, and in any living being or paradigm for that matter, it is because of this disharmony with the natural state of being. We cannot control others, be it individuals or societies, in such a way as to limit liberty and free will. We cannot control or alter nature or the universal laws. To believe the contrary is to be ignorant of the truths we observe ourselves in nature and all around us. The consequences of this type of action should be of no surprise to those who attempt to succeed in this path. If we are to see peace, for example, as an outer act in this world, between humans, between nations, we must respect one another above all else, and find the inherent truth within that brings peace of mind and realization, that we are in fact connected, and that struggle, conflict, and pain is a choice. This means all people must realize their equality to one another instead of supremacy and of constant division created by so-called differences.